Hello fellow counter-terrorists and welcome to PCGamesN's rundown of White Noise's mid-season reinforcements for Rainbow Six Siege. I'm Matt, joined by Jordan.
Hello.
And yeah, so it's Season 4 mid-season reinforcements, right? So that's White Noise's midpoint. It's where we start to rethink about what's going on with the new characters that we've got, existing characters and how they fit into the meta. So let's kick it off with Ela.
She's got, well, everyone predicted it, her clip size has been reduced from 50 to 40 for her Scorpion Evo, which isn't, I don't think, the nerf that a lot of people saw coming. I mean, people knew that they were going to reduce the magazine size because the common complaint is she just mows people down and doesn't really
inevitable,
run out of
right? Like one of the fastest and most efficient operators we've got at the moment is picked pretty much almost every match.
Yeah, her pick rate in Pro League is obscene since she's been added. I think a lot of people thought there'll be extra damage reductions or maybe more recoil. They did patch it 3 months ago to up the recoil, but they're just going with the clip size at the moment, so we'll see how that works. But there's another nerf to her that's sort of more general, and it comes to the concussion effect.
Sure, this is on the Grismont mines, right?
It's everything that does concussion effects.
Yes, because obviously this will also affect Zephyr as well, because she has concussion grenades in the grenade launcher. Yep. So what's going to happen? What's the effect change?
I'm not sure if it affects Echo yet.
Right, okay, because he's obviously got the drones.
But presumably it does. So what it changes is now you can sprint if you're concussed, which before was one of the big problems. You get concussed, you couldn't really run away. The camera speed and movement speed reduction, so I think it's like super slow if you want to turn around, which obviously you can't react to danger. That's now going to last for 4 seconds rather than 7 seconds.
Right.
Whereas the sight and the audio kind of, the kind of blurry effect, and that will still last for the 7 seconds. So you should be able to react a bit better now if you get concussed, but it will still feel quite claustrophobic. And that kind of thing.
Sure.
So that will affect her Grismots quite heavily. So I'm not sure. The biggest complaint is the SMG, and I'm not sure taking 10 rounds away. So it's still got 40 rounds in the magazine.
That still means that technically it's got 10 more rounds than most of the SMGs in the game, right? She's still, in terms of someone that's bringing bullets to the table, she's still the one whose pockets are heavy, right?
And like, so Pro League have been very critical. Like a lot of pro players have come out and said, like, this is before the patch, but I've said, everyone agrees she's too powerful. It needs a change. I quite like the approach Ubisoft is taking with it, which is let's take it one step at a time until she's in the right kind of place. They did that with Blackbeard when he was first introduced. They kind of took bits away from him, and then now he's in a really good place. So I think they've got it right with that. But we've got the Invitational coming up, so it'll be interesting to see how that slight reduction changes.
Absolutely.
Pro play.
Right, let's take a look at some assault rifle changes. 2 attackers, a nerf and a buff. So let's talk about the nerf to Ash's R4C, right?
That's exactly right, yep. So the R4C was always being picked over the G36C.
Yeah.
It had quite high damage and a decent rate of fire. I think it's 803 rounds
sure, yeah.
per minute.
It's a pretty good all-round assault rifle, right?
Yeah, and most people run it with an ACOG or holographic, and it's always been picked. Ash's, Ash main's a well-known sort of meme. So what they're doing is they're reducing the damage from 41 bullet per round to 39.
Okay.
Which I'm not sure how much of a difference is going to make. There's been some kind of like guesses as, so against defenders who are 3 armor and have rook plates, it might mean one more body shot to kill.
Okay, right.
The differences will be for people who are already damaged.
Yes.
Like, it might just take that one extra bullet. I'm not sure. Hopefully, the difference will be that it makes the G36C more competitive. Because it's also a really good gun. It's very stable. The rate of fire is much higher than the R4C.
But yeah, you very rarely see it, right? Pretty much every Ash I've ever seen, largely talking, has got the R4. Yeah,
and it's a great assault rifle. I don't think it's such a hefty nerf that it'll impact Ash mains in any way, to be honest.
Right, so that's Ash's nerf, but we're actually getting some buffs in the form of Capitao's Para assault rifle. So what's happening there? Where is the increase coming?
The Para 308 is now going from 43 damage to 48, which is a huge increase.
Yeah,
it's almost as powerful as some of the DMRs in the game. So Buck and Blackbeard's DMRs are both like 3-shot kill weapons. So its slow rate of fire has always been its problem. It's never been damaging enough to compensate for that. So hopefully this will bring Capitao into ranked play a bit more. His saw, I think a lot of people were hoping for a big kind of buff to the LMGs in the game, but it's still not happened. But the interesting thing as well is it's sort of a smaller part of the patch notes. They also mention they've reduced the random recoil of it, because it was one of those guns that sort of waved all over the place when you were shooting it, which was kind of great because you could just get random headshots. But I think Pro League would much appreciate a more stable.
So do you actually think the stability of the power is actually the more interesting element of the buff than the actual increase of damage?
I think +5 damage is still, it's hefty, so I think a lot of people will see that and flock to it. He's still a great operator. He's one of the few 3-speed attackers. His gadget is one of the only entry denial things you can use as an attacker, so hopefully, I mean, I love Capitao, so hopefully he'll see a bit more play now.
Cool. Right, and that brings us on to another attacking change, which is Twitch, which is something that's certainly come as a relief to me, and surely a relief to many, many Siege players. They're reducing the amount of barbs that the Twitch drone can shoot, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting you say relief. The community has been in uproar about this, and probably a little too enthusiastically. It's not a change that's going to affect many people. So the change is, the shock drones could carry 15 darts per drone. You get 2 drones, so that's a total of 30. And now it's down to 5 per drone, so a total of 10. It's a huge nerf on paper, but I don't think it's going to affect many people. The game designers have tried to say that the intention is they want to stop people just trolling players by shooting them with the darts, because if you can't find the drone, you're just getting hit by, it's really annoying. But also, the Twitch drones carried the ability to knock out every camera on the map and every operator, like defensive operator gadget or something very close to that.
Yeah, a good Twitch player is insanely useful to an attacking team.
Yeah, and if you couple that with the fact that she's got the FAMAS, which is just a beast gun, it's so good. She was becoming, she's got a high pick rate anyway, but especially in casual play, she was overpowered. So I think they're just trying to cool it down a little bit, but also sort of reduce some of the trollier elements of her play.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I think it's a good change.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people don't. I would urge them to recall the very early days of Siege, where the drone had like a red light on it and made loads of noise, and it couldn't. Its range was really short, so you couldn't even hit cameras. She's come a long way, and this is not a big setback, I don't think.
Right, and a couple of our defenders, they've got some changes as well, so let's talk about Bandit.
Yep.
Less barbed wire, right?
Yeah, so Bandit could carry 3 barbed wire, which is his unique, as well as his gadget, it was quite unique to him as a defender. Now it's down to 2, which means, apart from he's not as useful for just littering the place with barbed wire, very useful in high-level play. Now, you could also argue you could equip him with nitro cells.
Sure.
Because a lot of people forget he can carry nitro cells because he's got the 3 barbed wire ability. So I'm not sure how much it will change. Maybe it will bring barbed wire out of Pro League a little bit because it's still very dominant. Yeah. It's very useful. But yeah, it's a small change. I'm not 100% sure what impact it will have, but no Bandit main should get upset about it. The other change is Legion's goo mines.
Right, okay, and they're reducing the recharge time on them, right?
Yes, so it would take 35 seconds before, because he's one of those operators where you could throw down one of those invisible mines, and you'd have to wait 35 seconds.
On a cooldown, right, yeah.
Now the change is 30 seconds for a cooldown, which doesn't make a huge amount of difference for casual play, where there's a long round timer, so it's like 3-minute round timer. In ranked, it could make a big difference because Legion's in a kind of, he's okay at the moment, and in Pro League he's probably on the bottom side of the meta. The change would be that he'd get his 7th and last goo mine with 45 seconds left on the clock.
Okay.
Rather than 15 seconds left on the clock.
Which, in terms of the amount of kind of pushing and moving there is in a map, that means that it's down significantly earlier for that final kind of push that the attackers make, right?
And one goo mine can make a huge difference, just on a doorway. So
if you can slow them down, right, that's vital for that final push.
Yeah, I think he didn't need a massive change, and they haven't given him a massive change, so I think it's a wise move, and it should hopefully bring him up in the Pro League a little bit more.
And there anything else that we need to know that Ubisoft are kind of tweaking with these reinforcements?
So there are a bunch of fixes in general. I'm not going to go through all of them because a lot of them are either platform specific, so Xbox or PS4, and a lot of them aren't particularly consequential unless you're a massive glitcher. Don't be one of those guys. Okay, so the big change, the one that everyone's going to be really happy about, is that annoying Jaeger shield glitch where he could get the deployable shield to cover his face.
Yeah, almost like a mad kind of Blackbeard shield, right, for Jaeger.
So that's gone. Next up, Zofia, there was a bug where she could extend her down but not out time by just constantly spamming her with stand ability. On the tower map, you can't spawn peek there was an elaborate way you could get onto the windows and then you could see up the tower and fire up there. Coastline, attackers can no longer plant the diffuser outside of the corridor that leads to kitchen.
Okay,
you could plant it outside the door, which was just ridiculous.
Yeah, no, not fair at all.
Yes, it's a bug as well, so that's fixed. And finally, and I'm really happy about this, theme park, you can finally vault from the rooftop.
Yay!
Because there was like a small, like a mezzanine level that you had to rappel down to, and the rappel thing gives off a lot of noise, and you'd often get killed by that. So that's that.
Excellent. Right, so that's everything for our spotlight on Siege's white noise mid-season reinforcements. Hopefully you found our patch notes informative and you've enjoyed Platinum player Jordan Forward's analysis. Hopefully you've enjoyed all that. There's plenty more Rainbow Six Siege stuff on the website. It's one of our biggest games that we cover, so head there if you want any more information. But until next time, good luck and have fun.